All right. I think I figured it out. I hear myself. I'm good. I had to create a new stream. Sorry, guys. All right, it's Wednesday. Welcome to my screen. This is Steve, and I'm taking over for Jamie this week, and happy to oblige any user, hello trader 77, any new user that was sent here by support that needs help. I think there might be a couple. I apologize for the delay in starting. I had to create a new stream, but now I know how to do that, and I'll be here for an hour. So whoever needs help, this is why we come here. Otherwise, I just start rambling. Thank you, Patrick. Staying away from silver plays, Patrick. They're just too crazy. Broke one of my rules last night. I took rum into earnings and got pummeled for it today. So live and learn. Oh, I do believe XRP might be taking off. Let's take a look, shall we? Yes, it did. It popped above 74 cents and then came back. Dogecoin. This is a 1 hour chart, by the way. Bitcoin's 8,000 from 100. But if you know me, I've been positioned in XRP for a while. So let's go to the daily chart and we can see a bit more. Okay, Lee, I see your question coming right up. This Doge. All right. So Lee is asking about the money machine funding. The money machine funding right now is still in a concept phase. So you have the ability to simulate or observe and watch conceptually any size trade you want. You just go to the trade ideas. By the way, here's our new chat GPT, asking it about money machine and information. There's information in our chat GPT. But if we go to the dashboard, we immediately start defaulting into the conceptual, again, the conceptual money machine setups. But here's what you want to do. My settings, site preferences, dollars. So you could say, just show me what would happen if I allocated $1,000 only to each trade. You know, what's that going to look like? So we'll go back and we'll just throw that on the dashboard and see what happens. So there is no real funding, limit, min or max, Lee. But again, we're not going to be live on this thing until it's continually developed more and refined more. And we're probably talking February of 25. So there's no hurry. You're not missing anything. If anybody feels like they might be missing something, there is no live trading on the money machine. It's a over-marketed concept that we're working out in the proof of concept phase, and we're going to sim trading internally. Myself will be included in that, so I'll be part of the sim trading. But nice big run, probably election related for XRP. A lot of good crypto news lately. Oh, I got to refresh my account here. When I go to the dashboard, it takes me. Good, thank you, Lee. It takes precedent. I'm not doing a whole lot in my active account right now, guys. I'm going to be a half day. I'm going golfing with the guys here as soon as I'm done with this live stream. So I took a lot of risk off the table. I do have a couple of things working in other accounts, NNE being one of them. It's just that trio of small nuclear SMR. Look at these charts. SMR, OKLO. That one you might probably want to keep an eye on, and NNE. But I took a lot of off the table today because I just can't manage it. Reset the cash and start again tomorrow. Yeah, Patrick, Oakland tomorrow. Oakland's reporting tomorrow, huh? Let's take a look at that. You are correct. That's why it's in a holding pattern. I missed that. Thank you, Patrick. Is it possible to set up a race based on the stocks showing up on an alert setup? So in Drenil, the stock races are always going to be set up on a top list. So this is a top list. Anything with a T in the window will have the right click option for tree map, but also launch real-time race. The alerts, however, these are event-based, and so the races are basically running on the filter set. Who's doing the best in the filter set without having to look at that spreadsheet view? So the alerts, if we right-click, there's no option for it, and that's just it's just a function of how it is. God, I should be just long these things in my account, but I've been trading around, buying and selling. Can we link our brokerage accounts to trade ideas and the software executes the trades automatically? I just bought the software, so I'm new. So John, a couple things. If you have the premium version, you have the Brokerage Plus option right there. And you can trade your own strategies. This is strategies. These are defaults, but I can add strategies that are my own strategies. Okay, good. And then obviously starting off in the paper sim mode, I think is a good idea. I'm going to relaunch this. I'm going to try and get a better view. I don't know why it does that. There we go. There's a better view. So what I'm going to get at here is we do have the ability for you to auto trade your own strategies. Nothing that we built or nothing on the AI, but Alpaca is a broker. We do have an E-Trade connection. It's been a bit wonky lately, but Interactive Brokers is going to be your best fail-safe connection. Our API is really the strongest with Interactive Brokers. So if you don't, you can look into them, but those are the only brokers that we can connect to for your auto trading. All right, so Joe, E-Trade, if you had a connection successfully, I know that we've had a bit of issues lately. So if you're connected successfully, that's great. If you need help, you can email us at info, and I'll put this in there. And Chris Varley, our local guy, he's the expert on the auto connection. So info@trade-ideas. If you have any further needs or questions on that, I'm really not going to be able to help as much as Chris can. But I would suggest this. Start off simple, and that means basically using our paper trading account. And this is why we have this. You would be wise to, simulate all of your auto trading first. Took you a few tries, but it works. As I understand it, Joe, they kind of updated their API where they're going to like a two-factor authorization, and a token is required. And so we kind of had to catch up to their API and adjust. But I'm happy to hear that you have a decent experience so far. But again, you can save that email because Chris Farley will be able to help you if you have any connection issues to them. Take it slow. It's cool. It's complex, but it's a jet plane. All right, you got to learn how to fly it. And I would, again, suggest starting everything off in simulation mode. Kind of interesting. I noticed Doge was doing something, and always in the back of my mind, let me go to Doge. In the back of my mind, I thought, God, it's crazy, with great, John, good sim mode. It's a lot to it. It's a jet plane, exactly. It's a race car. You got to know how to downshift and double clutch and heel toe shift. And we're building out the simple stuff, but we've been here for 20 years. And when we started building this stuff, this was kind of the way it was. Everybody, downloaded a Windows app and knew how to drive the stick shift. Back to my thoughts on Doge. I bought a little bit at 19, and then I bought some more on these pullbacks. So I've got like an average price of 30 now. But if you saw the news last night, I mean, it's almost like Elon was trolling us a year ago when he was on Saturday Night Live and talking about Doge to the moon and all that stuff. Well, wouldn't you know it, now Elon and Ramsey are going to be in charge of the Department of Government Efficiency. And I almost think like there's going to be some role to play. He talks a lot about transparency, and everything's going to be transparent. When we talk about transparency, you're talking about blockchain type stuff. And I just have a feeling that DOGE might be a valid token here. So I've actually been loading up more on it. And, like I said, 30 cents. Ideally, when this 10 SMA comes up to support it, I'll feel better. There could be a pullback at any time on this thing, but the headlines are kind of falling into place for this. And it almost feels like it was kind of a troll and a setup by Elon all that time ago. I always wondered why he was so adamant about goofing on Dogecoin. Now, maybe it starts to make sense. And then, of course, XRP, I've been stacking this for a while, around 50 cents. It's just been back and forth. That's a crazy chart. There's a better view. That's Doge. That's XLM. There's XRP. So obviously the elections have changed a lot of models and encouraged a lot of things. And also XRP is waiting for Gary Gensler, the SEC villain, jerk. He needs to step down, and he's feeling a lot of pressure. And so it feels like XRP is just waiting for that headline at any moment that he's going to step down, because he's been the nemesis of lawsuits with XRP, hiding it tied up in the courts. All right, what would you guys like to talk about? Looks like I'm caught up. If anybody's been waiting for a question to pop in, I see a lot of people coming in. That's great. This is going to be the new format if you didn't catch it. Barry is just going to stay on his platform. It's a bit too taxing for his computer to run all these simulcasts at once. And I get that. You need every bit of performance you can. So we're just going to come in and cold start these 12 Eastern live streams every day, Monday through Friday. It'll be one of us. I'll be here tomorrow as well. Is there a way to organize the premium AI long-term strategy into dates? Let's take a look. I think so. I think we could double click and probably sort by that. Let's take a look. So we'll go to AI strategies. Now, if you're talking about the tile slides, I don't think so. But if we go to history, we'll go history all. That's just the way it should be, in my opinion. Let's go the last 30 days. And then we could double click the entry time. And that should give us dates. So those are all the most frequent. We can reverse that. And those are the oldest. That's the only way that, Joe, it looks like we can run a history and see. But if you're talking long-term, I think you might be talking these tiles down here. And these tiles are just random. So there's no way to really support how those come through. There we go. They're just going to be slides. Yeah, I kind of realized that's where you're headed now that I look at these slides, because they're more organized, I think, on longs and shorts. I think you're going to have them bunched together, longs and shorts. Well, these nano-nuclear stocks are just smoking. And somebody pointed out this one. Yeah, you're gambling like I did last night in Rome, gambled and lost. I thought I was going to get a good one, and I didn't. So once again, it just beat me over the head to remind me that that should not be a part of my method, taking stocks. Even though I was in the money, I basically got out for flat. I thought, I'm playing with the house's money here. I've got a great price. And I just got smashed. Yes, BWXT is more of a second tier company. And, they're just, they're doing well. Vista, I think, is also in the play. VSTA, got to keep an eye on this one. Vistra Utilities, yep. Oh, man, I got out of too much stuff too early this morning. This being one of them. Brian Shannon had me in this one. Sometimes I get mad at myself because I know I'm leaving for half day and get a bit of a pullback, and I start thinking, oh, just lock in the profits you got, Steve. But I leave a lot on the table when I do that. midday in a whim. Exiting in a whim usually isn't the best idea for me. Yeah, exactly, Joe. I'm so mad I gave up this. I actually got some good sales off in the morning. Why can't QTUM? No. All of a sudden, I've forgotten which one it is. Oh, QBT. QUBT. That was it. My God, Steve. So look at it. Consolidating here midday, incredible volume. I'm sick that I'm out. I got out down here. 160. Anyway. Hello, Lee. What is the recommended workflow for using Holly for paper trading? Well, since you can't automate it, and even if you were automating it, this live price might even be more slippage. What I would do is I would just consider using this as an idea generator for the day. You know, keeping these ideas up. Sometimes you're going to get even a second push. Like let's look at this one right here. This is a short in PSFE, and if you've been around, I have used the approach of just using my two simple indicators. This is a 10 SMA on a 15-minute chart, and this is a 5-day smoothed out moving average. It uses 130 candles. Both of them are SMA, and that's it. These are my two levels of interest. And so in this case, you know, the Holly entry short was just a lot of noise. And in this case, you're saying, okay, thank you, Holly, for giving me PSFE. I'm going to watch this. It bounces right up into my moving average. This is where you can take the short and even get a better price than the AI initially did on the open. So a lot of these AI prices are going to be very quick in the first 15 minutes, and you might not be able to catch them, but you should keep your eye on them and mark up charts using price alerts and levels of interest, and continue to just look at them as stocks in play on the day. Sometimes you can get even a better price. RGTI. Computing, yeah. So now we're starting to get into this quantum computing stuff. I mean, no complaints. I made money in this. I was in since here, and I basically sat through all of this only to get out, you know, here. So Lee, just to encapsulate, I would say just, you know, utilize those as ideas, as an idea generator. And I think that was a perfect example, that one where I gave you where the short bounced and you got a better price. Again, I'd be happy to share my chart with you. Just absolutely perfect timing, Lee. Look at this as the reason why I use these two indicators. General area of interest, the 5-day, 130 candles. Support, perfect. Now we're back in momentum mode, climbing the ladder of the 10 SMA. We're in momentum, no reason to get out, even though I did, like a fool. I'm going to share my chart settings with you. And I would just say, if you just utilize those two guardrails on the AI charts, it's all set for you. As soon as the price breaks and closes below this 10 SMA, the direction the AI has set is probably no longer a good trade, and that becomes your out. So there is, in fact, the Lee, there's my setting on the chart. It could be an easy way to just go or no go, stay in or get out. Can you show me how to easily open a window to view a stock chart? Yes. So one way is you can just use the one I just gave you, which is a cloud setting, but the easiest way is just new chart window. And from here, it defaults to the thumbnail. You can change these indicators by right-clicking and going to indicators, adding, removing, changing colors. If you don't want to see this information up here, you can close that. You can change the colors in the, where is it? Chart style. Select chart style. There's a lot of options in there for you as well. Great, you're welcome, Lee. All right, somebody's sending me something here. Hang on a second, Steve. Any future maintenance support? Very good. Hang on one second, guys. Okay. Oh, Lunar. Jeez. Prior trade of the week. Prior short squeeze. Earnings tomorrow. Got out way too soon on this one also, but that's a good problem to have, guys, when you're mad that you didn't stay in longer on a good trade. It just means you're making money on the initial stuff. You're welcome, Joe. I mean, I'll be here tomorrow again. Andy will be here Friday. I maintain, if you know how to come here at 12 noon Eastern and find this little gem, this is a free live room. And this is the kind of stuff that people would literally pay us for the hour. So I just take advantage of the time. I've been trading since 1995. I went full time in 98 and then went back to part time around 2008. I've been swing trading ever since. So I've had, more than one stream of income, which certainly helps. The period of full-time trading was absolutely stressful. There was one year where I made no money. That was fun. Explain that to the wife. So yeah, again, I don't have much going on. Oops, I'm almost much going on in the markets. I've got a few things working in other accounts, NNE being one of them, MindMed being one of them. But again, we're here to talk about whatever you guys want. Let's look at the general market. I mean, it's hard to sell this market off. Okay, here's my 5-day moving average coming into play. This tells us how strong the market is. Okay, here's the election reaction. We're not pulling back in price. We are consolidating over time sideways. The sideways consolidation is the strongest of any consolidation. It's just itching for a reason to move higher. And then when we come over here to the 15-minute chart, look at my rising 5-day moving average. Again, this is nothing more than 130 candles. Divides perfectly into 5 days. It gives me a smoothed out 5-day moving average. So we had a little sell-off here midday just to try and, spook some people out. Me being one of them, I took some profits. But it's respecting that rising 5-day, and we're back above the 10 SMA too. So we're back in kind of the sweet spot here. Oh, yeah, Joe, my God, if this is the first day you've gone through the software, it's going to take a few days, but you're in the right place because we can really help shorten your learning curve. So right off the bat, if you create a 5 moving average setting on one of your chart, does it carry over to the other charts? No, but what you can do is you can always say like, okay, I like this chart, right click and duplicate it. And then you just change the time frame. Daily or vice versa. So once you have the settings you like, you can just duplicate charts and then change time frames. But here's going to be the number one trick, Joe, as you go through this software today and you change colors and you change things and you size things. Don't forget, especially when you exit, but it's a good habit to get into to save your layout. This layout here is default layout. So any change you make, you want to lock that in, because if you forget to do that, that's the most maddening thing ever. If you restart the program without saving your layout, you get prompted at the close and you want to do it then too, but you want to lock those changes in because that's like a number one thing that people can do that gets frustrating for them. But, give yourself a few days. It's going to take a while to really understand, the nuances. The configuration window is really where all of it happens. This is an alert window. So the alert means we have to have an event using a new high or a new low. And then the filters tab specifies when you see those new highs or new lows. Whereas the top list window, the T window, does not have a new high or a new low. When we go to configure, it only has filters. There's no events. Yeah, you can also save your charts as default charts. So every time, good point, David. Yeah, there's an option in the chart to save as default. So when you launch a new one, it'll just come out the same way. Save as default. There it is. Thanks, David. I'll show you another cool trick here. Where is that? So one of the cool benefits that Trade Ideas has that nobody else has, and I mean nobody, not TrendSpider, nothing, because we are real time. We're like a police scanner. Pull back to the 10 SMA. All right. This is exactly what I'm using this scan for, to find charts just like this. All right. I try to teach people, do not be the person to come in and buy these highs. Wait for an area of interest. Well, in this case, my area of interest is the 10-day simple moving average that the price has been writing. So wouldn't it be nice as a textbooks trader to buy pullbacks and trust that the 10 SMA is going to hold? Well, that's what this scan does. So I'm going to show you, Joe. This is the magic right here. When we go to configure, no other company can do this. See this change from my 10-day simple moving average filter. So here's the filter, the 10 SMA. What have I done? I've created an envelope. I'm saying only show me when this stock is quarter point below or a quarter point above. However, having been up at least 4% in the last 10 days, and we can go to here, a summary. The price is at least $5. Average volume is that. Today's volume is at least that. The summary tab will help you. But here's where the whole configuration comes in. I'm backing myself into this chart. Stocks where the price was down at least 1%. Okay, so we're down today. But coming into today, the price was up at least 4% over a 10-day span. So that ensures I'm going to have something moving up. So we're having a down day today. But only show me these names when they're pulled back to the 10-day simple moving average, no more than a quarter below or a quarter percent above. So that kind of gives me an envelope or a band. And this is where, if you're looking around for ideas, all right, it's time to go idea shopping. What's this IP doing? It's run up, but it's pulled back and it's kind of flirting around the 10, but it's below it. So I don't like that one. So of the three, this guild is the most interesting. It's kind of blown through it. So then I shift to the intraday. I go, okay, well, I'm only going to be interested in taking a position on this if it can reverse. I mean, again, look at my momentum line. For the last day and a half, it has absolutely just solidly dominated the price. So you have to think, well, I want to know when that reversal happens. So give me the first indication of a reversal by right-clicking in my chart here and just set a line price alert at that level. Now I've turned this into an alert. No matter what I'm doing, reading, eating, talking to someone, it's going to splash up on my screen like so and tell me, hey, you wanted to be alerted when this happened. Speaking of Groupon, Groupon had earnings, horrible. So back to Guild. There's my price alert. I can even adjust it a little bit lower and get in earlier. So if I get a green bar that reverses here midday, it lines up perfectly with, pullback on the daily. Maybe that's a good risk reward entry for me as a swing trader. And it's just like that. Over here, what's this thing? Well, this thing is nothing more than, we'll go to configure. Pretty simple. Volume. Okay, the short float is at least 20%. And that's it. That's pretty much it. Just show me all stocks that are heavily, heavily shorted. But it's going to organize them here in a way in which it's only going to show me the strong ones. So Dave is obviously not something you would ever chase. But you can go through this name. There's Lunar. I wouldn't chase that either. But you can go through this down here at the bottom and start finding things that are maybe consolidating and they don't look too bad, but they might have a giant short float. And you could set a price alert for an explosion. ASPI. Somebody told me about that one last week. Yeah, Joe, if my price alert went off, I would immediately say, do I want to trade this? Yeah, I'll pull up my Schwab account here and just start trading away manually. I'm not an auto trader. I would never, it's just not who I am. That's not wrong. Dave Mabe and Brian and Michael Noss are great auto traders, but that's just not what I want to do. I want to be in control. So that's the power of trade ideas right there, is being able to see in real time when something's crossing a line or when something's pulling back to an indicator or a filter that you've desired. Every 30 seconds, well, roughly in this little shuffle, and just give me names. And then this is kind of my watch list. Everything over here is things I've traded or I'm interested in trading. My liked list. This is also a top list, but I'll show you how to do this. You can designate a symbol list. Okay, I've got a list of ETF names only. So I'm only looking at ETFs that I want to see, 30 of them. And I'm sorting by change from the open. What does this tell me? It tells me solars and jet and airlines are strong today. Energy and banks are strong today. Financials. What's weak today? Uranium, gold miners, China. So it's my top-down view on the market for today, change from the open. There's many little pieces to put together depending upon how you want to navigate the market. Okay. You just open the Holly AI window. These are the long-term ones. Basically, all the long-term slides mean is that these were once called by Holly a few weeks ago, and they're still trending in the same direction. That's all that means. We can turn that off. So look what I did here. This is something to always be aware of. Any profitable trades. So this was done to kind of coincide with how I was saying to use this. It's showing you these are the trades that are working, or these are the trades of interest. These are the stocks of interest today. And if we're going to look at them, well, we could look at all of them, but that's more noise. They're not all doing. So if we just focus on the ones that are doing profitable today, we can see these are the names to not lose track of. I prefer, it's a good question, Stark. You've obviously noticed something about me. Andy will say, hey, I'm buying, Goog or Amazon. I'm not interested in the big caps. It's just, you're lucky to get a 1% move out of them. I would love to rather play the SMRs where you can get these giant moves. The NNE is up 10% today, 12% now. You can't get that in Apple. QUBT left a lot on the table, but my God, these are the ones that move. So I like small caps with volume because you can rattle off, a good 2 or 3 day roll of huge percentage move that you'll never get in big caps. Nothing wrong with swing trading big caps. You're just your boat's gonna be a lot bigger and slower. I'd rather have more of a speedboat and try and really increase my performance using small caps. Now, speaking of short squeezes, Game and AMC, and I think what's happening here is maybe I do believe there's some naked shorting going on in these names, and those names, those people, groups, entities might be a little nervous now with the new administration that's actively making headlines about going after and investigating SEC and short sellers. So I think that's been kind of the catalyst. I was in game for 2 or 3 days. I sold it today. Again, that's one of the things I sold because I just want to clear the decks and press change, rearrange. Yeah, you're correct, Joe. You know, it's a good point, Starks. For the last couple of weeks, I've been getting up every night at 1 a.m. Pacific, logging in and checking to see my portfolio. And I'm getting kind of tired of that. So I've been full risk on for a couple of weeks. I need a break. So exactly. I'd like to sleep a little better. And in my perfect world, MK and Stark, once the stock starts moving, it's like a wave. I will surf it for a day and a half. And usually a day and a half is kind of what you get. Example, QUBT. Well, today's probably day one. It's probably going to run into tomorrow. I'm really kicking myself for not being in this thing, damn it. Okay. Play mega caps. Yeah, that's true. Well, that's how I play the market. I will play with SQQs, and I will play with I love IWM and TZA. I'm sorry, TZA and TNA, triple levered on the small caps. I'll play those. How am I playing XRP? Not playing it. It is it's a generational hold. I'm holding it for what I believe is coming, a new system, and XRP will be the grease in the wheels of the new system. So there's no way. I'm not selling anything, just like you, Shaw. It's not a trade. It's not a swing trade. I wouldn't even call it an investment because investments are eventually sold. I would call this a generational hold because if all goes well by design or by prediction, this is the kind of thing where you could put these tokens to work. You put them out on a stake and you provide liquidity. You're earning interest on your tokens. I would love to get to that point. It's been a long time holding. I've been accumulating it for 3 years now. I'm happy to explain. XRP is Ripple technology. They've been around almost as long as Bitcoin. They've been watching Bitcoin and learning from the mistakes of Bitcoin primarily. Bitcoin is not a transactional utility. It's very slow and lumbering, cumbersome. But Bitcoin is a store of wealth. It's like a gold coin. It's a Bitcoin. So they at Ripple Labs realized that in the future, we're going to have probably digital currencies and we're still going to have different countries. So right now, if you ever wanted to send money to England, you have to wire it through the SWIFT system. And those buggers hold it for 3 nights, 3 days, make the money on the float, on the overnight interest. And they charge you, 30, 40 bucks, 50 bucks. Antiquated system for converting one currency to another. Well, when we go digital on the blockchain, this will happen in a matter of seconds. And XRP is what we call a bridge currency. So it would go from US dollars to XRP to pounds in nanoseconds. So it's the escrow currency between two currencies, and it happens on the blockchain, and it can happen in seconds. Let me give you an example. A recent article, this hedge fund guy said, we send money all the time to Europe. And we recently decided to send $50 million through the XRP Ripple blockchain. It made it there in 5 seconds, and it cost us 30 cents. So this is a bet on a new paradigm coming where different currencies will still be trading, and these will be nothing to do with fiat currencies. All of these currencies will be backed like the BRICS. Basically, look at what the BRICS countries are doing. It's all going to be backed by gold or silver or something. The fiat currency of the central bank is done. They're done, especially after this election. It's over. I predict the Fed is done, and they're going to be moved and rolled into the treasury as it should be. But that's a story for another day. So the price of XRP has been reflecting the new administration, the new things to come. New Hope. SEC has basically been holding up XRP Ripple in lawsuits, saying it's a security. It's not a security. It's a utility token. So, as I was saying, maybe 5 years from now, you've owned thousands of XRPs, and ideally they're very expensive, because the more expensive they are, the less XRP tokens you would need to facilitate the probably millions of transactions a minute that will happen from currency to currency. Yeah, Joe is right, and so this is a bet on the new digital non-central bank world where people want to conduct business, and this is at the institutional level. That's XRP. XLM is Stellar Lumens, made by the company Stellar. The token name is Lumen, and it's only 13 cents right now. Imagine this as the peer-to-peer version of XRP. This is like Venmo without a bank, you guys. Do you understand in the future we're going to like say, hey, I owe you money. I'm going to transfer money from my ledger to your ledger. There you go. You got it. It didn't even go through the bank. And so XLM is kind of slated to be the smaller peer-to-peer version of money transaction from currency to currency. So there you have it. That's what XRP is. Well, I think everything has just accelerated tremendously, Stark, with the new administration. And you've got people literally thinking that Gary Gensler at the SEC is probably within 24 hours of submitting his letter of resignation. And that will probably free up a lot of euphoria that the SEC case would be dropped or settled or move on from there. If you want to get into conspiracies, I think the price has probably even been held down, so the institutions have had an opportunity to get into XRP and create their own portfolio and ledger. I mean, that's kind of out there, but it would make sense in hindsight. It's not just something that flipped a switch and turned on one night, and if you were in, you were lucky. No, this has been talked about. This has been mulled over. It's been around, and so it's just been grinding down around here around 50 cents in XRP. Now things are starting to happen, and the price is telling us that. It hasn't been above 70 cents since last March. So that is your sermon on why I like XRP. And I'm actually happy that it has waited this long to run, because if it hadn't, I would not have been able to stack as much each month, averaging into it, just like, a retirement account. So look into it, if you're curious about it, look into it. I think they work as pairs. XRP, like I said, is the institutional one. XLM is more peer-to-peer, more like a Venmo or a Zelle, without the banks in the middle. How about that? All right. I'm glad you asked. Oakland's earnings are tomorrow, right? Yeah. Back to the time frame. I mean, I would say 2025 is going to be a very much accelerated year compared to what we've had in the past. So there's no way to know when there's going to be full adoption, but anything starts off with slow adoption and then it has mass adoption quickly. It's called the S curve. Looks like this. Think of like smartphones. Starts off, my friend, my neighbor, what's that? Oh my God, everybody's got one. And then all of a sudden everybody's got one. That's the S curve of adoption. Where are we on the S curve of XRP? Maybe right here. I think it's still early, but if you're interested, look into it and do your own research for sure. All right, guys, I'll be here another 6, 7, 8 minutes. But we'll be back tomorrow at the same time. We have a whole new set of stocks at the 10-period pullback. Look at that. We're this exact same chart as we had before in the other one, pulling back to the 10 SMA. Pull back to the 10 SMA. Right. How to get the anchored VWAP from Brian? Yeah, it's an add-on subscription. So just give us an email. Let us know you want to add it on, and then once it's done, I'll show you how easy it is. New doc channel bar, and you'll have access to where would it be? Probably under Show More. Yes, Show More. A little button at the bottom, and then you go like this. Come into anchored VWAP. If you didn't have it, it wouldn't show up. You can actually do it by just going there and then clicking this get button here and adding it to automated. So you don't need to have us get in the middle. Yeah, it's an add-on. It's $49 a month. It goes on top of, and you got to realize we licensed this from Brian, and some trades are in here. The purple line, a lot of trades that he has in his book are in here, and you can find them. Okay. Yeah, Brian's a good friend of mine. We had lunch a couple weeks ago when he was out in San Diego here. And I definitely use his anchored VWAP. If I pull up another chart, usually I will just have a secondary chart ready to go with trade wave on there. And then I can just say, what's the anchor look like? And then I just kind of put that chart back down there. So yeah, his book on the AVWAP, you'll find that the scans, Michael created those scans, and they're all in there. So you can sort through them. And then what I would do is I would say, boy, I like this one here. I'll watch it. And then remember, this is probably one of your most important tools is right-click price alert. You're turning an idea into an alert by putting lines in there. And then you can highlight it and hit the delete key if you don't want it. But that helps you to take action down the road for your future self to be alerted. Any thoughts on the video? I wouldn't bet against it. I also wouldn't take anything into earnings, even though I broke my rule and did that last night with Rumble. I did so with the house money and wound up giving it all back. But I would never, ever recommend anybody take earnings in a position into earnings. You're welcome, Joe. I'll be here again tomorrow. So again, just take it slow. You're not going to learn it all in one day. But if you have an idea or a concept that you want to like back into for a scan, we can try and work on that tomorrow. I'm going to go back to 1-hour charts here on these cryptos. I kind of like the perspective of that. Oh, XRP. Typical. Even cryptos will do it, just like stocks. They peek their head out like a turtle and then retract from a new high. Funny. Yeah, market has no intention of selling off. There's absolutely no reason to be thinking about shorting anything out there. I think it was a major, major shift after the election. A lot of portfolio models are changing out there, and it's not going to turn on a dime. It's probably going to be continued upward momentum. Not only that, you guys, we're heading right into the seasonal late November, December trade, the Santa Claus rally. There's just something about the low volume holiday trading. A lot of retail traders come in, and darlings become even more darlings along that period. So what I'm saying is seasonally, we're in for a continued updraft, I think, of popular names. I see no reason to be bearish out there at all. And even if I was bearish, the price action just slaps you in the head, reminds you not to be bearish pretty quick. All right, if anybody has another question, ask it now. Otherwise, I'm going golfing. Get me out of here. 75 degrees today in San Diego. But then it gets cold when the sun goes down. Relatively cold. All right, you guys. It's 5 till. Kind of talked out. Seems like the room's kind of questioned out for the moment. But again, I personally will be back tomorrow, same time. So I'm going to sign off. And we'll see you again at 12 Eastern tomorrow. Bye.